And welcome back, folks. Professor Almeida, jpalmeida.com, here to talk to you today about CyberPatriot practice images and NETLAB. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, what is this NETLAB? Why can't I just use VMware? Well, a couple of reasons. Number one, maybe your hardware is not up to spec. If you think about it, these practice images, they are virtual machines. They're essentially computers in software, to simply put it, right? And you need to have enough resources to run that operating system and those applications in the practice image on top of your operating system and your applications. So you want to make sure that you have enough RAM and enough storage to accommodate all that. But maybe you don't. Or perhaps for whatever reason, you're not able to install or use VMware Workstation Player. So we have a web-based solution here, and let me show you. This is NETLAB, right? And you can get to NETLAB by visiting cos-netlab.lbcc.edu. Now, you're going to have your own account, and this information will be provided to you at a training workshop. Okay, so I have mine right here, and I'm going to go ahead and log in. So this is entirely web-based, and if it's a brand new account, you'll probably need to change the password. You know, that's not a big deal. So I have a couple of things up here, and I'm going to click on schedule because I need to schedule a lab for myself. Now, again, what you see here isn't necessarily going to be the same thing, and that's because I teach a couple of classes that use NETLAB. You're likely just going to see CyberPatriot Danger Room, so we're going to go ahead and choose that, right? CyberPatriot Danger Room. You'll see that there are 3 different practice images here. These are all Windows 8.1 based, and they have different themes. One is themed around the Avengers, the other the Simpsons, and then finally the Matrix trilogy. Now, here's another reason why you might want to consider using NETLAB instead of VMware. For one thing, these are all Windows 8.1 based, and Windows 8.1 does not have much of a shelf life left, right? It's going to join the dustbin where Windows XP is, and pretty soon Windows 7. And, you know, I'm kind of ignoring Vista there, but jokes aside, Windows 8.1 doesn't have much of a shelf life left. So if you run Windows 8.1 in VMware and you have Windows Update turned on, ooh, yeah, I've seen bad things happen even in our own training workshops to the point where even the scoring engine stops running for whatever reason. So by going into NETLAB, there's no networking, and you can be rest assured that all of the vulnerabilities you fix will actually be fixed, and you'll see the scoring engine update itself. So that might be a very compelling reason. The other thing too is, besides Windows 8.1 being on its last legs, the scoring engine that's provided at the uscyberpatriot.org website is quite dated, right? They have a section there for you to build your own practice images, and like I said, the scoring engine's a bit old. Apparently it doesn't play nice with Windows 10. You know, this is something we're still trying to figure out. So we have NETLAB for the time being. Anyway, I'm digressing here, so we'll go ahead and fire up one of these labs. So I'm going to choose the Avengers, and I'm going to go ahead and schedule lab. Now you'll see that there are a number of different pods here. And if you find that there is already a reservation, that someone already signed up for a pod, all you have to do is just go and look for one that isn't taken, right? So let's see, let's go with 8044 here. And I'm going to click as close to the red line as possible. So there you go. Now, it's recommended that you set your reservation for at least 4 hours. Why is this important? Because let's say you're on campus, you're working through the practice image, and then you got to go home. You can just go right to home, fire up your PC, go to NETLAB, and continue where you left off. So 4 hours, 4 minutes, you can see the reservation's been scheduled, and we'll go ahead and enter the lab. Now, it goes without saying that you do need to have a good internet connection. So the pod's initializing, and here we are. let's take a look. We don't have to worry about topology. If it's a networking class, then you'll certainly want to take a look. Content, here's the README. Now, as an IT professional, it is crucial that you understand and appreciate the importance of documentation. Not just reading the documentation, but also writing things down. And one of the things you want to do as a CyberPatriot competitor is to keep a checklist of things. Okay, so again, I can't stress it enough. Document, 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 but also read the documentation. So here's our README. You are cleaning up a Windows 8.1 workstation for the Avengers. Please ensure that it's secured from the likes of Shield, Hydra, and other enemies. Use CyberPatriot best practices for passwords and policies. Now, again, you're going to see a couple of things here, and there might be some things that are not mentioned. So again, you want to use best practices, but also use the checklists that you and your teammates have been keeping. So that's the README. Here's the status, big deal. All right, and here's our machine. So let's go ahead and log in. The password is change me, which you should probably change. And here we are. Here's our Windows 8.1 desktop. Let's go ahead and fire up that score report. Now, if you need to look at the README at any time, you can always switch right back here. Okay, here it is under content. So here's our score report. A couple of other things I want to show you. This is the time remaining. Got 4 hours with this reservation. If you need to send Control-Alt-Delete for whatever reason, okay, you just choose Control-Alt-Delete. Remember, this is web-based and keyboard shortcuts aren't exactly going to work. Let me explain. If I try to use the run command and the shortcut is Windows R, right? Watch what happens. Look at that. That's not our Windows 8 image. That's my Win 10 machine here. Okay, so if I want to use the run command, I'm going to have to right click on the start menu in the image and go that way. Okay, hope that makes sense. Now, if I need to break this into its own window, I can choose undock, right? This might make things a little easier here. And then I can resize the window however I want. Okay, so let's go ahead and fix one of these 44 vulnerabilities. Now, don't feel terrible that you don't get all 44 right away. This is meant to be practice, right? So as you go through, you learn the best practices. Eventually, you'll hit that 100% mark. Okay, so let's fix something real quick here just to show you that it's working. Oh, look, Team Viewer. No, we don't want that. Let's go ahead and delete it. Okay, let's get rid of that executable. And let me quickly refresh this. Aha, so there's one vulnerability fixed. So I hope this makes sense. Now, don't be afraid to break things in here because, again, this is a virtualized environment. It's completely sandboxed. It's safe. I'm going to go ahead and shut this down. And if you mess things up, you can always spin up another pod. Okay, it's not a big deal. So don't be afraid to experiment here. So I'm going to go ahead, exit out, end this reservation. Okay, and it's going to tear it all down. So that's pretty much NETLAB in a nutshell. So if you feel more comfortable using NETLAB, ask me at one of our workshops how you can get in, and I'll provide that information for you. Now, if you want to use VMware, hey, more power to you, but I want to caution you that if Windows Update runs amok in the background, chances are things start breaking, especially with Windows 8.1 being as old as it is. So anyway, I hope this helps. Good luck with CyberPatriot, and I'll see you around. Thanks for watching.